Hey guys, another week, another game dev vlog, and this week hasn't necessarily been the most productive. Did get a little work done, have done a lot of thinking about different things, but overall didn't make nearly as much progress as I wanted to going into this week. In Everybody at Its Universe, I did solve one of the bugs that we were experiencing during testing. The other thing that I've done in Everybody at Its Universe is some revisions to how the chat works. So previously I had it on a sidebar, and now I'm moving to an overlay style. Now we aren't actually 100% certain that it'll stay this way, but it does feel a lot better to use than the previous methods. Now, other than that, I haven't really made any other progress on Everybody at Its Universe this week. But this week, I also did some thinking about the other games that I'm going to be working on over the course of this year. I'm going to be working on two significant games in particular, one especially more significant than the other. And previously, I had announced that I'm going to be doing two web games this year. Well, one of them is no longer going to be a web game, it's going to be a paid game. And I'm going to actually go ahead and announce that it is Extraction Chapter 1. So some of you may remember Extraction Chapter 0, which was a pilot episode of a series I was planning on starting, and it actually came out of the Ludenberg Game Jam. And there were technically two different versions of the game, the original Game Jam version and the more polished official series pilot. Now that was a Flash game, and I was planning on making the actual games in the series as HTML5 games now, but I've realized that with the scale of the story and everything else that I want to do with this series, it actually makes more sense to make it as a series of full paid games. It just makes a lot more sense to do it that way because I'm going to be putting a lot of work into these games, and the web games that I'm making aren't really ever going to make more than like 1.5K per title, and if I'm working on something for many months, that's not worth it. I definitely do like the idea of making web games, and I still want to do it every once in a while. The Rotate sequel will be a web game, but my primary projects need to be capable of actually paying for the time put into them. So my plan with Extraction Chapter 1, it's going to be the second game that I work on this year. That earlier one is going to be a web game. I'll announce that soon enough going into next month. Towards the middle of the year, I'm going to be starting on Extraction Chapter 1 and trying to get that released before the end of the year. That is my goal. And it's pretty ambitious considering the fact that I've never released a game like this before, something on this scale. And it is definitely a more serious game. It's based around darker themes and a grittier world, and it's definitely not intended for children. And it is definitely targeting a more niche audience of players like myself. And those are the kind of games that I think always do best in the indie game community, is developers creating games they would want to play, and inevitably there's going to be a market for that. So I don't know how well this game is going to do. Hopefully it does well enough that I can finish the series. Yeah, it's going to be very experimental. Hopefully it goes well. We'll see. So I'll be starting on that, as I said, towards the middle of the year and trying to get it out before the end of the year. We'll see how that goes. As we know, nothing goes according to plan, but it always works out in some way or another. So we'll see. Some other stuff that ended up happening this week was I actually ordered a couple of things. First of all, I ordered a hard drive for my new system. I still haven't sorted through the stuff on my laptop just yet, but I'll get that figured out here soon enough. That way I can get fully transitioned over onto my new PC, because currently I'm only using it intermittently for testing things, for doing my vlog editing, and stuff like that. But I do need to get transitioned as soon as possible, that way I can fully utilize the power. Another thing that I actually ended up doing was I ordered a new set of headphones. That way I can keep my old pair plugged into my laptop and my new pair plugged into my system without having to swap back and forth between systems like I would have to otherwise. So these new headphones are the Audio-Technica ATH M40Xs as opposed to the M20Xs, which I had previously. So it's definitely a slight boost in quality as well. I've got them fine-tuned on the EQ and all that, and I've got my system set up where I can just switch over in the software between my speakers and my headphones so I don't have to unplug anything. So anyway, that's basically that. I definitely would like to have had more to report about Everybody at Its Universe. Haven't made a massive amount of progress there, but I definitely want to get on that this next week. I want to make a lot more progress. Another thing that's going to be happening this week is we're going to be releasing Finn's Fantastic Food Machine. That's the game Alex, also known as Kataya, and I worked together on making initially for a game jam, but that didn't really work out and it was never released publicly. So we've been working on a polished up version of it. It's mostly been him working on graphics lately, finishing up the storytelling, but he's just about done with that, and we will finally be releasing the game later this week. So stay tuned for that, and you'll get to try it out. Let me know what you think and all that. So yeah, that is gonna have to be it for today, but as always, I do want to thank my contributors over on Patreon. It is a massive help. So if you want to check it out for yourself, the link is down in the description below, and of course I want to thank everybody at its patrons as well. So yeah, I'll see you around. Goodbye.